In the Supreme Court of the United States. In Re Lee Kent Hempfling et Ux. Lee Kent Hempfling, pro se, Suzy Kent Hempfling, pro se, applicants. The United States, respondent. On original jurisdiction. Writ of mandamus under the All Writs Act, to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and the Arizona Superior Court of Pinal County, Arizona. Petition for rehearing. Lee Kent Hempfling, pro se and Suzy Kent Hempfling, pro se. P.O. Box 4291, Apache Junction, Arizona, 85178. Petition for rehearing.
The exposure and punishment of public corruption is an honor to a nation, not a disgrace. The shame lies in toleration, not in correction. If we fail to do all that in us lies to stamp out corruption, we cannot escape our share of responsibility for the guilt. The first requisite of successful self-government is unflinching enforcement of the law and the cutting out of corruption.
Theodore Roosevelt, State of the Union Address, December 7, 1903.
Petitioners bring this petition for rehearing under U.S. Supreme Court Rule 44.2 because substantial grounds not previously presented compel this court to invoke original jurisdiction of a case involving deprivation of rights through an uncovered massively coordinated corruption in many areas of the federal government. That greater justice cannot be uncovered in any other way. Pursuant to Rule 44 of this court, the petitioners hereby respectfully petition for rehearing of this case before a full 9-member court. Pillar 3 of the President's Implementing the United States Strategy Countering Corruption, Accomplishments and Renewed Commitment in the Year of Action is holding corrupt actors accountable. This divulges and details multiple avenues of corruption in South Carolina, North Carolina, Washington, D.C., and Arizona. Where petitioners are seeking release of their constitutionally protected redresses of grievance, the court itself has been shown areas of concern only addressable by the court. Without the granting of the petition for mandamus, holding corrupt actors accountable will not be possible. No criminal charges can be filed on any of the following as they have far exceeded statutes of limitations. Nonetheless, now that the nation has learned about these corruption schemes, it is highly important that these mechanisms are not permitted to continue. Lee Kent Hempfling's EEOC charge complaint was illegally sacrificed to reach a settlement 5 with the LM Communications companies at the engagement of direct action, taken by the South Carolina NAACP, represented by the Rev. Joseph Darby, who learned about the situation from Patricia Thompson, who met with Darby to explain her case. When Thompson handed Darby the graphic image of Yasser Arafat threatening, "This man would love to kiss your cheeks," the moment he saw it, he turned to the phone and dialed a number he already knew. That engagement started a massive, multiple agency, collection of outside control of government functions. Complete interference and fraud upon the United States of America and the petitioners.
Exhibits 2Y Lee Kent Hempfling's EEOC Form 5, 2 LL EEOC Dismissal, Title 18, USC Section 241 Conspiracy Against Rights, 2A Press Release, February 9, 2004 Criminal Corruption and Cover-Up in the Administration of the NAACP Backdoor into the EEOC Controls Justice. Radio Ownership Files Fraudulent EO Report. Exhibits 2 PP Case Brief presented to Billy Sanders, August 20, 2003. Exhibit 200 Trish Thompson Letter to EEOC August 1, 2002, 2KK Yasser Arafat Threatening Image April 23, 2002, and Exhibit JJ Reverend Joseph Darby Direct Action.
Darby invoked the use of direct action in dealing with the EEOC. Direct action has been a reference to marches, protests and the like. Both legal and not legal. Both peaceful and not peaceful. But it has never been openly used to describe dealing with a regulating agency's lawful processes and the procedures inside of the executive branch. The term direct action was used to denote intervention in the regulatory processes of a United States executive branch agency. As the direct action movement defines it, direct action is a category of activism in which participants act directly ignoring established or institutionalized political and social procedures. Operating within the boundaries of laws and demonstrating peacefulness are not elements of direct action. Direct action in this context can only mean extortion, footnote 17. The Hobbs Act forbids extortionate conduct that, in any way or degree obstructs, delays, or affects commerce or the movement of any article or commodity in commerce and covers actual extortion, attempts or conspiracies to do so. Extortion is defined in the Hobbs Act as the obtaining of property from another, with his consent, induced by wrongful use of actual or threatened force, violence, or fear, or under color of official right. The property at issue in a Hobbs Act extortion violation must be something of value from the victim that can be exercised, transferred, or sold. The entire EEOC process was corrupt.
Direct action is defined by dictionary.com as the use of strikes, demonstrations, or other public forms of protest rather than negotiation to achieve one's demands. Using this term to describe the way the South Carolina NAACP would deal with the EEOC ignores that the process is a negotiation. See Exhibit JJ Darby Direct Action. Title 18, U.S.C., Section 245, Federally Protected Activities 1(b), and Title 18, U.S.C., Section 242.
At the control of the South Carolina NAACP, represented by NAACP member government employee Billy Sanders, EEOC Program Manager, Thompson, and the LN Communications Companies of Kentucky and South Carolina, entered into a settlement agreement, across state lines, that required the Hempfling case to no longer be a thorn in any government agency. This was business conducted in North Carolina, South Carolina, Washington, D.C., and Kentucky. To accomplish that, the FCC, the FBI, the EEOC, and the DOJ's Civil Rights Division had to be managed. Complaints had to be lost or destroyed or ignored. The scheme put in place with the Darby phone call literally lit up the connections between the agencies. Controlled by the South Carolina NAACP. Both parties to the settlement suffered from financial and licensure weaknesses which make them highly likely to be affected by such persuasion, and the party exercising the persuasion, official federal employee operating under the color of law, is someone in a special relationship with the victim. Sanders really played Thompson, that makes the victim especially susceptible to such. Catching both parties in a weakened or vulnerable state, Sanders and the South Carolina NAACP took advantage of that condition by creating an unusual and unique transaction based in undue influence, a settlement for Thompson that destroyed Hempfling's complaint through a misuse of position. A much larger problem had to be cleared before a settlement could be made that gave preferential treatment in settlement amount and terms. What was the price to destroy complaints at the FBI, the DOJ, the FCC, and the EEOC, all at the same time? A much greater justice is waiting.
A non-governmental organization, NGO, is an organization that generally is formed independent from government. See Exhibits 2Z Billy C. Sanders EEOC Business Cards, 2GG Copy of email from Thompson to Sanders August 4, 2002, 2EE March 16, 2004 Dismissal Letter from Sanders, 2CC Complaint Letter about FBI O'Neill Response, 2X EOC Response February 6, 2004 and 2BB February 2004 Letter from Patricia Thompson to Lynn Martin. Plus Title 18, U.S.C., Section 245, Federally Protected Activities 1(b), Section 2635.702 Use of Public Office for Private Gain. Since the agreement was consummated in fraud and extortion, b. Appearance of governmental sanction. And Undue influence is influence that amounts to deception, force or coercion that destroys a person's free agency. American Bar Association and American Psychological Association, 2008. Plus Exhibit 2D information for demand for grand jury investigation and indictments and prosecution for crimes state and federal submitted, January 13, 2004 amended and updated March 10, 2004. Plus Exhibits 2B, Letter Mr. Tom O'Neill Chief Division Counsel FBI, 2W Ustoge Civil Rights Divisions blows it off February 2, 2004, 2T FCC Complaint, ignored 4 times, 200 Trish Thompson Letter 2 EEOC August 1, 2002, 2U U.S. Attorney refers allegations to Chief Division Counsel FBI, 2V FBI Response March 12, 2004 and 2C A letter from Nancy Wicker.
The FBI received a full official complaint and ignored it by declaring it was a duplication of something else. The FCC received full official complaints 4 times. They managed to lose or ignore them all. The US DOJ Civil Rights Division flat out lied, claimed to have accessed and read secure evidence. No one ever did. No one. Not one governmental agency or office or person bothered with this case except J. Strom Thurmond Jr. A year later Thurmond left the office. An unauthorized access from North Carolina was attempted using Kerry Dominguez's private access code. Attempts have been made over the many years to garner attention from anyone who could do something about systemic corruption in government. We have never given up and will never stop trying to reach the greater justice.
See Exhibits 2U U.S. Attorney refers allegations to Chief DIV Counsel FBI, 2V FBI Response March 12, 2004, 2C Letter from Nancy Wicker SC USAG, 2T FCC Complaint, ignored 4 times, 2DD FCC Letter March 10, 2004 Complaint, 2 FFFCC Violations, 2DD FCC Letter March 10, 2004 Complaint, 2 WDOJ Civil Rights Divisions blows it off February 2, 2004, and 2U, U.S. Attorney refers allegations to Chief Division Counsel FBI February 11, 2004.
Senator Lindsey Graham was contacted as the senator from the state most of the crimes happened in. The complaint about the illegal acts of EEOC and NAACP were sent to his Mount Pleasant office. But the office didn't want it sent in the mail. Gene Price, an assistant in Graham's Mount Pleasant, South Carolina office, wanted to drive to our home and pick it up. That was not going to happen. It took 5 months of talking and pleading before Gene Price took her own money and went outside of the government to mail the complaint about the EEOC to the EEOC. No response was ever forthcoming from the FOIA request. It too was ignored. But the U.S. Senate Ethics Committee was curious. The Office of Government Ethics was a waste of time. Local news media likewise, was silent.
See Exhibits 2F FOIA Senator Lindsey Graham News Release March 3, 2004, 2E FOIA EEOC News Release March 9, 2004 FOIA Senator Lindsey Graham. 2G Senator Graham Response August 7, 2003, 2R Senator Graham Response October 29, 2003, 2mm Richard Perry FOIA, 2S United States Senate Ethics Committee, 2HHOGE.gov Response 2 Letter February 17, 2004, and 22 ABC TV 4 WCIV Charleston, South Carolina.
The multiple-decade radio broadcasting career of Lee Kent Hempfling was over. No one responded to ad inquiries across the country. Patricia Thompson tried. Multi-agency cooperation meant every attempt made to find a solution was met with a dead end. A conspiracy to defraud the United States took place in a fraudulently created extorted settlement agreement that benefited the broadcast ownership of all 3 companies, as the FCC complaint of lowering power during every morning program should have revoked the broadcast licenses of all LM communication properties immediately. The FCC, the FBI, the DOJ Civil Rights Division, all worked together to destroy the Hempfling case and remove it from government processes. Plus, the Hempfling case would go away forever.
See Exhibits 2NN Patricia Thompson Recommendation August 1, 2002, and 2T FCC Complaint, ignored 4 times.
Argument. The direct action perpetrated by Darby, the South Carolina NAACP, the EEOC and Billy C. Sanders, disrupted government business, in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1752, A.2, with a reckless disregard for consequences. And, Section 234.6, interfering with agency functions, A, C, D. Sanders represented the South Carolina NAACP in carrying out the direct action in violation of 18 U.S.C. 205, activities of officers and employees in claims against and other matters affecting the government. Since no one ever acts for free, 18 U.S. Code Section 208, acts affecting a personal financial interest, 5 CFR Section 2635.502, personal and business relationships, A, not impartial, 18 U.S. Code Section 872, extortion by officers or employees of the United States among others. The Press Release Exhibit 2A Press Release, February 9, 2004 Criminal corruption and cover-up in the administration of the NAACP backdoor into the EEOC controls justice. Radio ownership files fraudulent EEO report is presented here for the first time. What started as a simple act of doing a job, hiring staff, rebuilding a failed radio station format, adhering to FCC regulations, all while dealing, writing and performing a morning radio show, with the morning show having its transmitter power reduced to nearly nothing to damage ratings, became much more. The FBI, the DOJ, the EEOC and the FCC were all coordinated to eliminate the loose ends. This systemic corruption is still in place and has undoubtedly been continuously active ever since and before in many more topics than just an EEOC case. Since all of the law violations committed during the extortion scheme have far surpassed applicable statutes of limitations.
Lee Kent Hempfling is the plaintiff in 21 allegations of federal and state felony counts, submitted to John Ashcroft, R. Alexander Acosta, U.S. DOJ Civil Rights Division, Henry McMaster, then South Carolina Attorney General, Robert S. Mueller, Director of the FBI, Governor Mark Sanford of South Carolina, Carrie M. Dominguez, Chair of the EEOC, J. Strom Thurmond, United States Attorney for South Carolina, Michael Powell, Chair of the FCC, Glenn A. Fine, Inspector General, and Roy Cooper, then North Carolina Attorney General. Each of these people received the document demanding justice. But that was only after Senator Lindsey Graham's office spent 5 months covering up the allegations of corruption between the EEOC and the South Carolina NAACP, eventually sending them to the accused, the EEOC. Hempfling included Richard Perry, Senator Graham's chief of staff, and Gene Price of Graham's Mount Pleasant, South Carolina office in charges of obstructing justice in refusal to forward allegations to the Justice Department. It started after Hempfling was fired from his job as program director of WCOO-FM in Charleston, South Carolina. He had spent the previous months trying to hire an African-American female to a full-time job. Patricia Thompson, before Hempfling arrived, had been passed over for promotion, paid far less than other part-timers, and suffered under discrimination at the station. Hempfling filed a complaint directly with the EEOC. Thompson, mother of former University of South Carolina defensive end, number 91, Mo Thompson, settled her case with WCOO-LM Communications Incorporated, Lynn Martin of Lexington, Kentucky, in May 2003, after Sanders had canceled Hempfling's fact-finding meeting.
Exhibit 2A Press Release, February 9, 2004 Criminal corruption and cover-up in the administration of the NAACP backdoor into the EEOC controls justice. Radio ownership files fraudulent EEO report.
Crimes detailed inside Exhibit 2D. U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 63 Section 1343, Fraud by Wire, Radio, or Television, U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 1 Section 1. Section 2, Aiding and Abetting, U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 19 Section 371, Conspiracy to commit offense or to defraud United States, U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 13 Sector 241, Conspiracy against Rights. U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 13 Section 242, Deprivation of Rights under Color of Law, and Section 245, Federally Protected Activities. U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 47 Section 1017, government seals wrongfully used and instruments wrongfully sealed, and Section 1001. False statements. Statements or entries generally, U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 73 Section 1512. Tampering with a witness, victim, or an informant, and Section 1505. Obstruction of proceedings before departments, agencies, and committees, U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 95 Section 1957. Engaging in monetary transactions in property derived from specified unlawful activity, U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 101 Section 2071. Concealment, removal, or mutilation generally of records and reports.
Take a deep breath.
U.S. Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Enforcement Provisions Section 2005. Section 706, B, I, 1, South Carolina, Title 16 Chapter 5. Section 16510, Conspiracy Against Civil Rights, South Carolina, Title 16 Chapter 5. Section 16520, Punishment for Commission of Additional Crimes, U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 41 Section 872, Extortion by officers or employees of the United States, U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 41 Section 875, Interstate Communications, and U.S. Title 18 Part 1 Chapter 1 Section 3, Accessory after the fact, plus North Carolina Article 60 Computer-related crime. Section 14457, Extortion, North Carolina Article 30, Obstructing Justice, Section 14221.2, Altering court documents or entering unauthorized judgments, and North Carolina Article 20, Frauds. Section 14 to 118.4, Extortion. Not only was the Hempfling EEOC case sacrificed in the illegal undue influence-inspired settlement created by EEOC at the direction of the South Carolina NAACP, it was also shown in the press release to be the commission of federal offenses for government functions being controlled by an outside undue influence, through a government employee owing loyalty to the NAACP before his office. Convenient that the other systemic scheme in existence, and exposed in this case, is invoked at the knowledge of law violations. Taking jurisdiction away from the civil proceedings for criminal processes and then locking it away in the vault of never to be seen again, is simply not this nation. While petitioners' cases are hidden from view, final results not known, unable to appeal by right if necessary, the greater justice demands action. Corruption in the Fourth Circuit, the Ninth Circuit, the Arizona Superior Court in Pinal County and elsewhere continues. 2 years after the Fourth Circuit case was blocked, the clerk was asked what the status was. The response was a redacted line letter. In this and the original petition, the court is presented with first-hand, direct evidence of executive branch, nationwide, systemic corruption and for the first time known, the legal ability to solve the problem. At least in these
the morning and know that the dollar will be accepted down the street at the grocery store. I can go to the post service and expect that I can retrieve my mail and that someone won't take it or that someone won't view it without my permission.
In theory. Until this case is granted and the public is informed of the corruption inside the USPS, Judge Skavdal has much to be concerned about. Systemic. The vigilante copyright power on the Internet in Lumen database usurps judicial authority. The Lumen database collects and analyzes legal complaints and requests for removal of online materials, helping Internet users to know their rights and understand the law. These data enable us to study the prevalence of legal threats and let Internet users see the source of content removals. The district courts shall have original jurisdiction of any civil action arising under any act of Congress relating to patents, plant variety protection, copyrights and trademarks. But not on the Internet. The judicial branch has been replaced. Systemic. State actors are taking orders to censor protected speech. This censorship is at the direction of state and federal executive officers. Has government decided to ignore the First Amendment completely? Systemic. The judicial branch itself has been censored. A reason exists why a medical, dental, malpractice suit has not been finished. Whomever bribed clerks to hide filings should solve that. Corruption was alive and well 2 decades ago. It has continued unabated to this day. A hide-a-case scheme exists on both coasts of the nation and most likely completely between, as the issues apply to all prosecutors. A case mentioned in the first Informa Pauperis application in Pinal County Justice Court is in the exact same condition as the other cases. A prosecutor has decided not to do anything and nobody knows it and nobody can do anything about it. The court in that case was the victim of wiretapping of the proceeding in an eviction case already found, a month before, to have probable cause for extortion by the Apache Junction police. Nothing has come of it. A read your opponent's mail scheme exists. A misdirect mail scheme exists. A hide legal documents from the public with search censorship scheme exists. All of this corruption has to stop.
28 U.S. Code Section 1338 Patents, Plant Variety Protection, Copyrights, Mask Works, Designs, Trademarks, and Unfair Competition. The district courts shall have original jurisdiction of any civil action arising under any act of Congress relating to patents, plant variety protection, copyrights and trademarks.
There is no other means to stop this corruption than public knowledge that it exists. There is no such knowledge in the public other than the public's perception.
June 2022. More than 1/4 of U.S. residents feel so estranged from their government that they feel it might soon be necessary to take up arms against it. A poll released Thursday claimed. This survey of 1,000 registered U.S. voters, published by the University of Chicago's Institute of Politics, also revealed that most Americans agree the government is corrupt and rigged against everyday people like me.
Until someone is prepared to lay out the systemic problem, we will simply go through cycles of finding corruption, finding a scapegoat, eliminating the scapegoat, and relaxing until we find the next scandal.
Newt Gingrich.
Rehearing this case on the merits with all new evidence and attachments is not only appropriate, it is necessary for the nation. Reasons for granting rehearing. Granting rehearing will make the nation aware of deep-seated and long-standing corruption schemes that are still active today inside government agencies, controlled by outside NGOs. Granting rehearing will hold corrupt actors accountable even if statutes of limitations have expired. At least present-day actors will think twice. Without knowing these schemes exist, they cannot be stopped. Granting rehearing will divulge the actions and crimes depicted in evidence. Granting rehearing will focus attention on solving corruption. Granting rehearing will protect the rights of individuals and the sanctity and integrity of the judicial branch. There is no other means of correction. Conclusion. The court should grant the petition for rehearing, consider this petition together with the original petition, and grant mandamus in this case, thereby protecting the rights of individuals and protecting the nation from resistance to lawful authority. Respectfully submitted. May 1, 2023. Lee Kent Hempfling, pro se, Susie Kent Hempfling, pro se. P.O. Box 4291, Apache Junction, Arizona, 8517.